Well, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. And I don't know about you, but I love just flipping through Pinterest, getting inspiration and just ideas about fun other little things that I can do. And that's sort of where this one was born. I saw someone that was using like mini gourds that were all dried up and painting them up and adding some I don't know, maybe they use Fimo clay or something to decorate them up. So I decided that I'm going to use my IOD air dried clay, and instead of gourds, it drives me crazy to throw light bulbs out. That may be weird, but they seem like even when they're done, there should be a use for them because they're kind of a cool shape. And so we're going to use light bulbs instead of gourds, because why go and buy a gourd when I have an old light bulb? And it's not gourd season. So I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of dried up gourds hanging around my house. But I do have old light bulbs, only because I don't throw them out. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna start by using the IOD air dried clay because that's what I got. And it occurred to me, I wanted to show you, and it comes in a package that looks like this, right? When it's full. And you want to, once it's open, keep it tightly wrapped to ensure that it doesn't dry out. However, I did in the shop happen to be moving the air dry clay, and I realized I had a whole package of clay that was rock hard. Obviously, it had maybe a pinprick or a little slit in the plastic somewhere that I couldn't find, but it had dried out entirely. It was just like a brick. You couldn't even manipulate it or bend it. So I just wanted to share with you a little tip or trick, because sometimes you just don't seal it up properly and it starts getting too hard, and I don't want you to waste your clay. So I wrapped it up in baby wipes. You could just wrap it up in a paper towel. And then I dropped about a quarter of a cup of water in here and kind of got it all wet. So it got all wet, and now my clay is like this. It is all reconstituted and it is good to go. In fact, it's softer than this clay over here. But, you know, I wanted to pass that tip along, how to be able to get your clay back, because I can't be the only one whose clay dried out on them. And I don't know if you would realize you can bring it back. So I just wanted to start by saying that. Now, for this, I think I'm gonna try two little, I'm just using up the last of my other one, which is harder to use. You know what, I'm not. I'm gonna use the new one. I'm gonna put this into the bag with the moist one and let it start to soften up the old one. Oh, that makes so much more sense. But then I need to just move them into the big bag. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's put the old one down there. Let's take some of the soft, good one. Oh, yes. Okay. So the first thing that I'm thinking that I want to do, and I have two ideas. So I'm going to make two of these. There's two things I need to do. First, for the one, I need to cover up these threads. So I need to kind of just squish some clay in around those threads, just so that it's a nice smooth surface. Oh, this has absorbed a lot of water. It's kind of sticky. That's kind of cool. Just to make it like a nicer, more smooth surface and make it a little bit better. I think the other thing that I need to get to is maybe a little glass of water so that I could use that to kind of smooth out some of these designs as I'm looking at my fingerprints in here and stuff. So on one of my little breaks from you, I will do that. So I want to do the head and just cover up all of those irregular pieces. And the other thing is, because it's going to flop onto the table, is I'm going to do a couple of feet and get those anchored on right now so that it has a place to stand. And that would help me as I'm working on other components of it. So I'm just rolling out a ball, kind of flattening it out. This will be the base. So I have roughly the same amount of clay. I say roughly, I really didn't measure. But those are the 2 feet. And I want here to get a little bit of my wood glue on there so that it can kind of dry in place. So of course it's sealed up. Oh my goodness. Let me just help it come. If the wood glue doesn't work and they pop off once it's dry, then that'll be okay, because then I can just use like E6000 or a stronger glue, so that would be okay. But what I'm looking at is kind of, see how it just stands nicely now? Let me turn it around so that it can kind of face you and you can see. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I am going to run and grab my X-Acto knife. I'm going to unplug my glue just so that I can use it in a more normal way going forward. So I'm going to go get my cup of water. I'm going to unplug my glue, and I'm just going to smooth out the head, this part, so it looks a little bit less globby, and then I'll be back. I brought you over my shoulder for this because it's kind of fiddly work, and I gotta be facing it, and you would just see the back of the light bulb the whole time. Now for this one, I'm just going to kind of score in here, just kind of, I'm not gonna fully well, maybe I am going to fully separate the toes here. I'm gonna do kind of like a bird, maybe like a chicken. So, I don't know, chicken, rooster, whatever it happens to be. So I'm just gonna give them 2 claws, two toes. Okay, I'm taking poetic license, right? He's not gonna be a realistic looking bird anyway, so I can do whatever. Okay. So we'll just let him sit and kind of dry. So we know the glue isn't dry, he's just kind of resting. Okay, so I think what I might do is next is maybe the beak, because that would give me an idea of where eyes would go. So I'm just taking, let me just do this, another hunk of clay. And just sort of shaping it down into, that might be too bulky of a beak. I mean, let's make it sort of chunky, but not so it looks like it should make him fall over. Okay, that's kind of good. And maybe a a bit of glue now that my glue is working. It was totally jammed up. It's a pretty big beak. That's okay, we'll go with it. All right, now I need a couple of eyes. So to start with, let me make sure I have 2 bunches of clay that are roughly the same size. That looks pretty good. I've got fans going on over top of me, so I'm a little bit cautious of not leaving the extra clay out because it'll dry out that much faster. And I'm going for big, kind of comical eyes. Maybe those are a little bit too big. A comical eye. It's just... Okay. Okay, so what I did do is I've got a couple of little pieces of painter's tape, and I just want to kind of tape it down just around that wing to keep it from sliding down until the glue sets. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Just don't want to glue it on top of the tape there. Okay, there's our little chicken form. Okay, paint it up. He may be cute. Ah, okay, he's still got to dry. So let his feet dry. Put him over here. And let's try one more. Okay, so this one I'm not going to have to do because I'm going to put a hat on it. But I need the little feet to keep him standing upright for me. Okay. So now I'm thinking I'd like to have, maybe I'll save the hat for last. So I'd like to have kind of some hair and a beard. So let's do the beard first. I'm going to try a gnome. Right? So let's move our gnome out here. So let's start with kind of roughly a little bit of a beard shape. I'm just gonna put it all the way across. So I'm gonna put, whoa, he's tipsy. Let's just take a little bit of tape again. Kind of hold that up a little bit. Typically works better underneath. I cut this just so I could give a little bit of definition to the beard. Okay, so this guy may have to be done a little bit in stages just to let that initial glue kind of set. So that that beard is holding in shape. I hate it when I do this, but sometimes I push record, I think I push record, and I don't. That's what happened here. So what we've missed is my simply rolling out a flat piece of the clay and wrapping it around to form the hat. And you can see me taking water on my finger just to smooth out the hat, to be able to make the creases and cracks disappear and just kind of smooth it out to a nice shape more than anything else. What you also miss seeing me do is I actually take one of the little trimmings molds from IOD and I push some clay in it to be able to create a band around the base of the hat going up around the nose. And I think it just adds a little bit more definition. And then I just do a simple little ball at the top of his hat so that it's like a pom-pom. Well, our little figures have dried overnight, and I gotta tell you, I thought overnight that I just remembered them as being cuter than they were, but they're pretty stinking cute. So I'm looking forward to painting. Now, you could paint these with whatever paint you want and then just seal them. I'm gonna use acrylics. I think that I have a little bit more variety and a little bit more ease in getting the colors that I'd like. So, and they blend up and I can mix and match and not a problem. But really, you're just playing with painting in whatever tone, whatever look you're after, whatever your overall plan is, right? And it's all good. It all works. I think I need to have maybe a bit of gray for his beard, but I'll get it painted first and we'll see. So, easy enough. You just jump in, grab a couple of small little brushes. I got his hat going. I just want to see what this particular green, which is a chrome oxide green. You know what? Use whatever. But I just want to see if it's kind of, yeah, okay, that's good. I just want him more in kind of muted tones. I'm going to do the chicken maybe a little bright and funky. The little gnome, I just want to have in a little bit more muted tones and not so wild. I mean, I may even put polka dots on the chicken, so who knows? But this one, a little more staid, a little, you know, a little bit more natural. But you can see the clay takes the paint really well, and So it's just more painting it out to create the look that you want. Now, the acrylic paints that I use, there's no magic to them. I don't have super expensive ones. I bought like big set from Michael's local kind of craft store here. So, you know, these are just cheap, inexpensive, not, gee, I do a lot of, you know, acrylic painting on canvas. These are just, I use them for crafting, and I have two types just because it gives me a little bit more variety of color, but okay, he's already looking cute with color on him. All right, I'm gonna continue painting, and we'll see how they look when I'm done. Now, in starting the chicken, what I'm interested to see is how well I can get the color, one, to stick on the light bulb, and two, what the blend, because I've got the same color going to be the head and the body. So I want to see if the continuity is there, if you know what I mean by that. I mean, really, I want two different surfaces, just looking for the right brush here. So two different surfaces to carry the paint in a way that it's going to look seamless. So already I can tell I'm going to definitely need 2 coats of paint at least on the body where the light bulb is, because it's far too thin. So I'm going to be putting 1 coat on there to sort of create a painted surface that the next coat will adhere to. So I need it to be just as opaque as the rest of the yellow color. I just wanted to pop on as I continued to paint out the little chicken. So a couple of things. I ended up putting a white base coat on. The yellow didn't seem to grab. It was gonna take too many coats. So I put the white linen all-in-one paint from DIY on, painted over the yellow, it went on like a breeze. So next time, what I would do for this is paint the light bulb entirely first, right? Like I would have put the little head on, then paint the whole thing out. So I could have base coated it, could have painted it all yellow, and then I didn't have to futz. I could have just futzed with painting the little pieces. If you want, you could use a Fimo clay, and then you don't have to paint them, period. But I have the air dry clay, and I'm not going to buy special. But I am going to put polka dot them because I want to. So no other reason. Just this is how I do really nice dots. I just take something that has a flat bottom. If I need a little dot, I might use a little nail and use the flat bottom of the nail. For this, I'm just using a dowel that seemed to be about the right size for what I was looking for. And I just go from there. And I just eyeball it. Okay, I'm gonna continue on, finish him off, and come back at you when both are dry and ready. Well, maybe, he might not be dry, but he'll be done. And I'll show them to you. So I have to tell you, these turned out pretty cute. And I think that this would be a good little craft project you could do with kids also. So let me show you. This is our little gnome. And I ended up going dot crazy on him, just a little bit on the hat, maybe a little more dot crazy on the chicken. So I did the black dots, and then I did white dots on the little comb and on his feet. So 2 completely different looks, obviously, in terms of little figures, but they both, because of the feet, stand up. I think it's a really cute use of old light bulbs. So don't get rid of them. if you still use these kinds of light bulbs, hang on to them, turn them into cute little decor things. I think especially like the little gnomes coming into Christmas time. But you know what? I think that you could do a bunch of ghosts, witches with their witch hats and little cape would be cute, little scarecrow. So you could do a whole little vignette with mini pumpkins for going into fall and Halloween, and really then Easter and some bunnies, and you know, really they lend themselves to any season whatsoever. Let me know what you think of these ones, guys. I think they turned out super cute myself, but I'm a little biased, so more than happy to hear from you. Love it when you comment, and I'll take some pics for you, but I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.